Welcome to Hannity. The first, the only vice presidential debate is now in the books. We are live. We are in the spin room. We are in New York City. Now, coming up tonight, we're going to get reaction from Senator Ted Cruz. Donald Trump Jr. is here. Vivek Ramaswamy, the man of the hour, J.D. Vance, will be coming into the spin room, who I think kind of wiped the floor with Tim Walz, who seemed very nervous all night. Make no mistake, this was a consequential debate. It will, in my view, register in the polls. It will boost Donald Trump. You decide.
When did Iran and Hamas and their proxies attack Israel? It was during the administration of Kamala Harris. Ask yourself at home, when was the last time, I'm 40 years old, when was the last time that an American president didn't have a major conflict break out? The only answer is during the 4 years that Donald Trump was president.
Look, we all want to solve this. Most of us want to solve this. And that is the United States Congress. That's the Border Patrol agents.
The people that I'm most worried about in Springfield, Ohio, are the American citizens who have had their lives destroyed by Kamala Harris's open border. It is a disgrace, Tim. And I actually think, I agree with you. I think you want to solve this problem, but I don't think that Kamala Harris does. You're going to hear a lot from Tim Walz this evening, and you just heard it in the answer. A lot of what Kamala Harris proposes to do, and some of it, I'll be honest with you, it even sounds pretty good. Here's what you won't hear, is that Kamala Harris has already done it. If Kamala Harris has such great plans for how to address middle-class problems, then she ought to do them now. Not when asking for a promotion, but in the job the American people gave her 3.5 years ago. What Tim Walz is doing, and I honestly, Tim, I think you got a tough job here, because you've got to play whack-a-mole. You've got to pretend that Donald Trump didn't deliver rising take-home pay, which of course he did. You've got to pretend that Donald Trump didn't deliver lower inflation, which of course he did. And then you simultaneously got to defend Kamala Harris's atrocious economic record, which has made gas, groceries, and housing unaffordable for American citizens.
Now, soon to be maybe Vice President Vance was measured. He was prepared, compassionate, obviously smart, intelligent, bright, showed a lot of compassion, and the country really got to meet J.D. Vance tonight. Not a caricature that the media mob, state-run media mob created of him, and as they do of Donald Trump. Meanwhile, Tim Walz, he didn't look very comfortable, visibly nervous, constantly making, well, kind of weird faces, trying to deliver rehearsed lines. Tim Walz also lied over and over again. We fact-checked him. Lied about taxes, pretended only the wealthy Americans would see a tax hike under the Harris and Walz administration. That's false. He lied about the border, pretending that illegal immigration numbers are lower than under Trump, which is false, totally false. He lied about abortion. He lied about housing. He lied about inflation. 2025, the project that, well, only exists in their mind. He lied about regulations, and when asked about another lie surrounding his time in China, Tim Walz kind of embarrassed himself. This is a moment to watch.
Governor Walz, you said you were in Hong Kong during the deadly Tiananmen Square protests in the spring of 1989. But Minnesota Public Radio and other media outlets are reporting that you actually didn't travel to Asia until August of that year. Can you explain that discrepancy?
Yeah, well, and to the folks out there who didn't get at the top of this, look, I grew up in small rural Nebraska, town of 400, town that you rode your bike with your buddies till the streetlights come on, and I'm proud of that service. Now, look, my community knows who I am. They saw where I was at. Look, I will be the first to tell you, I have poured my heart into my community. I've tried to do the best I can, but I've not been perfect, and I'm a knucklehead at times. I will say more than anything, many times I will talk a lot. I will get caught up in the rhetoric. But being there, the impact it made, the difference it made in my life, I learned a lot about China.
Governor, just to follow up on that, the question was, can you explain the discrepancy?
All I said on this is I got there that summer and misspoke on this. So I will just, that's what I've said.
Now, Tim Walz clearly in over his head, despite plenty of assistance from the, well, blatantly biased CBS moderators. Walz didn't look pretty good, didn't look good in any way tonight. And by the way, CBS, they should frankly be ashamed. They didn't keep to the rules. So-called moderators immediately broke their promise not to serve as fact checkers in order to help Tim Walz and push their own political views as, quote, facts. Meanwhile, this country and the world are absolutely deteriorating under the failed far-left radical policies, the feckless leadership of Joe Biden and Kamala Harris. That was a point made over and over again again by J.D. Vance tonight. Now, we have a mounting crisis at home, overseas. Things will only get worse if Kamala Harris gets a promotion. Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.